Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Orphe, and today I'm going to show you how I convert my photos to black and white. Let's jump right into it. We're not going to do all the blemishes removal and all of that. So I'm showing you the first method in Capture One. The goal to have black and white, you just want to make sure to have, some light and some shadows, and you want people to be drawn to a specific area. So for me, it's probably going to be the eyes and a little bit of this part here of a face, because the face is the most important thing to look at. All right. So the first thing, I just bring my saturation. Now, when you bring your saturation down, this is the easiest way to get your black and white. And for me, for example, what I can just do is boost my exposure just to make sure that, the photo is well exposed. So this is the easiest way I do my saturation right now. But sometimes what I love is just I want to have a little bit deeper shadows. I'm gonna bring back the saturation so you can see what I'm talking about. So the exposure, I brought up the exposure a little bit up. Now what I do in terms of the shadows, so if I take my curve and I bring my curve a little bit down, as you can see, because there's a haze on the photo. I mean, it's part of being in the studio or all these digital cameras that we use. It always comes with what I found, like a little haze. It's not my fault, it's not your fault. So what I do, I just bring my saturation down, and now look at what I do. So it kind of, makes things a little bit dense. So you kind of see the difference between before and after. This is the first thing that I do, or if I want to do a quick black and white, this will be the first method that I use. As you can see, it's already nice. So what you can do is just starting like this. Now, the other thing is, sometimes what I do, I just go ahead, depending on how hard you want your image to look, depending on how it was shot, I sometimes boost just a little bit the contrast. So if I pull the contrast all the way up to 50, that's too much. If I go on the opposite side, it kind of, removes the density that we added to the picture. So I'm going to double click to put it back to its neutral setting. So I'm going to bring up the shadow, the contrast just a little bit up, right? So as you can see now, the photo, you're going to see before and after, before and after, before and after. This is without the contrast, and this is with just a little bit of contrast. Now, the other thing that I do, because what I said, I want to control the highlights and the shadows, because I want to draw people to a specific place. This is without brushing or anything. This is just me starting with just putting some sliders here and there. So I'm probably going to go with the whites. As you can see, do you see the difference? I'm going white. So it kind of creates a little line. If I do this, do you see the difference? So that's what I would do. I can bring up the highlights just a little bit, but that's a little bit too much. And now I have the choice to bring my shadows just a little bit down. The reason why I would want to do something like this, it's simply because I want, depending on how much of a statement I want to make with the photo, so I will bring my shadows down to have a more impactful image. I'm going to bring it like this. So we went from, this is color black and white. All right. So first of all, you got to understand the goal behind it. So the goal is to make sure that you draw people to a specific part of the face, or even on a photo that you shoot, even outside. If you shoot outside, the goal with black and white is just to make sure that people are drawn to a specific area of the photo, because the eyes always go to the brightest part of your image. And what I love to do is also come here to clarity and bring up some. I don't want to go like this because it adds blur. You can add it as an effect, but that's not what I do. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit to add a little bit more clarity. Now, when you add clarity, what you have to understand that what it will do, it will start adding more texture, or just, I don't know, I call it dirt sometimes, but it's not really dirt. It's just more, the photo will be more texturized and more, dense. That's the closest word I can choose for that. But this is usually what I do. And sometimes I probably gonna play with the dehaze. It's not much, but I can play with the dehaze a little bit on the right side. Now, this for me, it's a little bit too much. So now what you have to do is just bring down some of the things that you've done. But in Capture One, you don't have layers and for you to play. So this is what I would have done. Just a little bit more intense. I'm gonna bring down the contrast just a little bit. Now you have your photo. So let me just I'm going to copy this and bring it, let's say, to this photo. So as you can see, now you have your eye goes directly in here. Now, let's say you want your eyes to go here instead of here. What you can do, you can bring your whites down. I'll bring the whites down. Not the brightness, your highlights down a little. And now the next thing you can do is also brush. Let's say I'm gonna brush here. If you brush and then you start bringing, you can either bring your shadows up or you can bring your exposure up just a little bit. Now you kind of have instead of, let me just go to the layers, you see before and after. It goes directly on the face where you want the viewer to look at first. One thing that you can also do is add vignetting depending on the photo. You can also do this. It adds dimension to it. Okay, I'm gonna brush more. Bring this. Yeah, okay. You can do this as well, depending on how you really want to affect, the viewer. So you got to make sure that when you copy this, for example, if I copy this and I paste it here, the brushing and all will go as well on the next photo. But that's not what I want. I'm just going to get this photo and click in here. And that could be also a different statement. The goal behind it, like I said, it is just a question of bringing attention to a specific part, because where the eyes will go first is where there is more brightness. All right. So you decide where you bring that brightness.